Hello and welcome back to the Mind and Money podcast. I'm Sherry, a financial coach.
And I'm Val, a financial planner. And today we are talking about, as entrepreneurs, we're responsible for our own income. What happens when revenue is low? Because this sparks a lot of those scarcity feelings, that tightening, that, oh no, now what? So, Sherry, I want to turn it over to you. When you have clients that are seeing lower revenue months, what are the pieces that you bring into play and the tools that you have to help them?
This kind of comes from two overarching things to focus on. The first one is, and it's basically the same as with a personal budget and your income's being reduced, but on the business side. So the two things are what's coming in and how can we increase it, and what's going out, and are there things we can decrease without making our lives significantly more challenging. Like if you've got something that in your business that costs you a specific amount each month and it makes your life so much easier, we don't want to look at trimming those things out. But what are some things that are maybe nice to have that if you take them out, they're not going to impact you significantly from and adding more work to your plate? But the biggest one is to focus on revenue and how can you add a new stream of revenue, increase more revenue through your existing streams, and really just thinking about what business do you want to build. And for me personally, over the last probably 6 or 8 months, I've really been leaning into, I want a business that's not heavy lift. I don't know if that's the right term, but like I don't want to have a really significant amount of business expenses when you look over at the year. And I want to not feel pressure to work with anybody who comes to me that's not a good fit. And I really want the business to support my life, but I don't want it to be something that I have to feel all the pressure to work all the hours in. So really evaluating my expenses this year and looking at where has there been some overlap and which ones can I eliminate and which ones are adding a significant amount of value. So one of the big things was around automation and managing my clients. And I do use a lot of free softwares that allow me to use them, but there are limits that are attached to them when I'm using the free version. So for my contracts that my clients sign when they start with me virtually, I use a program called Jotform. And one of the limits around it is you can have 5 different contracts within the free. And there are limits to how many you can have per month. But because of my client base being mostly one-on-one and having a limit around how many I can bring on in a month, it hasn't been an issue. So how can you bring in more money? Or how can you decrease your expenses? Or how can you do a little bit of both?
Right. So that first piece is the auditing aspect, looking at the numbers, which we have so many episodes talking about that, but it really is looking at what comes in, what goes out, and kind of that quantitative approach of what can I trim, what can't I trim, and then the qualitative approach. Now, this could also be in like a seasonal piece that the money ebbs and flows. This could also just be how entrepreneurship can be. But when it comes to the qualitative, so like, what is our mind saying as well? I think is a really big part. What's our mindset? What are we telling ourselves? Like, because it's really easy to get into like a dark place, a crappy place, a negative space when the numbers aren't reflecting what we want them to reflect. So taking also that time to listen, pay attention, and be kind in your mind, and then putting that energy into actions that you can take. Right? Can you reach out to more people? Can you be more consistent on social media? Using the calm to put into your business, to put in the good work. Because I think often when we're in the dip, we kind of forget the highs that come.
100%.
Right? And we're like, well, I'll never have that again. But it's coming, in my opinion, like the universe is giving you this time to use wisely. How do you think about this time, right? It's like the calm before the storm. How can we prepare ourselves for that storm, which is a good storm? But how do we act in this storm or in this calm as well?
Yeah. And a big thing that I've seen with clients in the past, and I believe I've shared similar stories before, is when you invest time to put things together with your finances, and when you are confident in the systems that you have set up, you've got a plan for your business finances, you've got a plan for your personal finances, and you have clarity around all of that, the universe is often very generous with, here's some more client revenue, or here is another order for your business. Because whether it's consciously or subconsciously, when we don't have clarity around our money and we're worried about A big one is taxes. When you're an entrepreneur and you're worried about taxes because you don't know how much you're supposed to save, you haven't been saving, it can hold business back from coming to us. And old me would think this is cheesy as fuck, but the universe really has our back. And when you put it out there to the universe that I've got my money shit together, the universe will bring revenue, but also you have to take the actions. You can't just meditate and om and say the universe is coming to me. I live in a land of abundance.
Right. It's taking that inspired action and not just expecting it to fall into your lap. It's putting in the good work, right? Like do the good work, the good things will come. Not without challenges, because those challenges help us to grow and level up, or however you want to approach that.
You're so wise.
But sometimes. But sometimes I even have to remind myself of these things because our mind can get the best of us. And if it's coming from that scarcity place, finances is a huge one where now we're just in this dump and we don't remember that the sun was ever shining.
Yep. And I think one thing to evaluate is whatever type of business you're in. I'm going to talk about a service-based business because that's where we're at and that's what I know and that's predominantly the clients that I support. One thing to look at is look at your client roster for the last, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and look at where those clients came from. Where did you connect with them and what brought them into your business? And that often then leads to, okay, they came in through this path. That is what I am going to focus on. So a big one is through networking, through having conversations. We think there's so many things we need to do and we put pressure on ourselves to do social media. And the truth is that social media is a much longer path to bringing revenue into your business. And the shorter path is conversations, going to networking events, talking to past clients, building a referral partner network. So if you don't have other professionals that serve a similar client base as you, look with how you can connect with them. So if you are a yoga instructor, for example, and you teach online or in-person classes and you want to bring more people into your business, think about, where do my clients hang out? What other professionals are they working with? Maybe they're going to see a massage therapist. Maybe they're working with a tarot card reader, an osteopath. So think about like what mindset your customers are in, what their values are, what's important to them. Maybe it's a health food store, like, what do your clients love? Where are they hanging out? And this can be in social media land too. So are they a part of a Facebook group where you can go in and promote yourself? So just think about the shortest path to connecting with new clients and start giving yourself some actions around, I want to have 5 conversations a week with new referral partners, or just set some goals around what's the minimum you need to do to bring a client into your business. And if you start doing some tracking, maybe it's you need to be a guest on 5 podcasts before you see revenue coming in from that, or you need to have 5 conversations with referral partners. So just tracking to know, if I have 10 conversations, that generally brings in 1 client can be a big motivator. And this is going to sound really bizarre, but one thing that you can do too is have a goal that seems opposite of what you might expect when you're looking to bring in revenue. Have a goal of how many no's you want to get, because that creates conversations and it shifts the goal to putting pressure on yourself to get the yes. So think about, how can you get to 25 no's?
Yep.
And that can, it's easier to get a no, right? So, and the more no's you get, the closer you get to a yes.
Yep. Accurate.
And if you have subscriptions that you're not using in your business, go and cancel them now. If you sign up for an annual subscription for something and the start is kind of like, not sure if I'm going to love this, cancel it right away. You still get your year. They can't not give you your year, but then you don't get the auto renewal. Or you can do this if it's a month subscription too. Just if you're trying something out, try it and then cancel it. And then very often they will give you specials to try and bring you back in.
Oh yeah, they will.
We got new internet at the cottage. Cheers to high-speed internet in a random road that I never thought we would get. But I called the company to cancel the internet, and is there anything we can do price-wise? Is there anything we can do? Like, they were going for it. So when you cancel something, generally the business has something in place to try and get you back or retain you. So this can even get you a deal the next month or the next year if it is something that you love. So how can you cut costs? How can you bring in more revenue? How can you have more conversations. One of my dear friends, but also somebody is my mentor as well. Cheers to Kelsa. I've taken so much of my training from her, and one of the big things she says is that conversations create cash. And as an entrepreneur, it is really true. So how can you talk to more people? And I know if you are also an ADHD entrepreneur, it can be scary to put yourself out there, but what's more scary is getting a job.
So do the audit of your numbers. Put yourself out there. Put the energy into the business, not just working in the business, working on the business. Talk to people, connect with people.
Tell people what you do. Tell
Yeah.
everybody who will listen what you do, because we think that everybody just knows what we do, but
Right.
they do not. Very often our closest friends and family don't know what we do and
How we can help, who we help, and don't give up on the long game pieces like social media. Oh, I made a video last week. It got 2 views and I'm never doing that again. Keep going. Consistency. Put the energy in. Do the good work.
And very often what will happen is you'll have a conversation with somebody and they'll either go and look for you on social media, or they'll talk to somebody who will go to look for you on social media. So having social media, I think, it's not 100% required, but I think it's a good way for people to know who you are. So maybe like not posting every day, but just posting enough there so that people can get a sense of who you are and what you do when they go down the rabbit hole to explore if they want to work with you or not. Let them know who you are on social media, but definitely have those conversations. Think about who you need to have those conversations with and how you can do it. And networking events are also really good too. A lot uncomfortable. And if you're going to a networking event, here's my challenge for you. Don't go with a friend.
Go on your own.
Go on your own, because that's going to help you push outside of your comfort zone so that you are having conversations with new people and not just standing beside your bestie and not getting to know new people. You can talk to your bestie anytime, but don't bring them to a networking event.
Go get uncomfortable.
Go get uncomfortable, do the things you need to do, take some action, but also get some clarity around your money, because both are very important. And also think about your mindset, think about how it's impacting you and the actions that you can take to shift it. And one of the big things for me is getting my thoughts down on paper, getting them out of my mind, whether that's talking to somebody or writing them down. So lots of things that you can do to move yourself forward.
Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time on the Mind and Money Podcast.